Good day, grade 9s. I'm Ms. Todd, and today's lesson is going to be about neutralization and pH. In this section, we are going to look at what neutralization reactions are and how we are able to perform a neutralization reaction. When we speak about neutralization, a neutralization reaction is when an acid and a base react together to form a neutral substance. These reactions can either be performed when a base is reacting with an acid to make an acid less acidic or neutral, or it can occur when an acid reacts with a base to make a base less basic or neutral. So in the diagram provided, we have an acid, we have a base. When we mix them together, it gives us a neutral solution. Now remember what we spoke about in the previous sections on metal oxides and non-metal oxides. A non-metal oxide is acidic, and a metal oxide or a metal hydroxide or a metal carbonate will all be bases. These sections we will discuss in the next few chapters. With neutralization, the results will vary depending on the strength of the acids and bases that are mixed together. In this video provided to you, we have hydrochloric acid that reacts with sodium hydroxide. Hydrochloric acid is our acid and sodium hydroxide is our base. Universal indicator is added to each one. So as you can see in the hydrochloric acid, it turns a red color to show us that it is an acid. And when the universal indicator is added to the sodium hydroxide, it turns a dark purple color. This shows us that substance is a base. If these two substances were to be mixed together, it will give us a neutral solution. So if the hydrochloric acid is mixed into the sodium hydroxide, it turns a green color. That indicates a pH value of around 7, and that shows us that the substance is neutral. So what is an ion? An ion is any atom or a group of atoms that has one or more positive or negative electrical charges. With regards to acids, acids have a high concentration of H+ ions, which is hydrogen. And if we go back to the previous section, the properties of acids and bases, hydrogen is usually in front of our acid. With bases have a high concentration of OH ions, and OH tends to be behind the chemical formula of our bases. Let's have a look at what polyatomic ions are. So polyatomic ions is a group of atoms which always occur as a unit in nature. So poly means many and atomic meaning atoms. So it's many atoms that are together as a unit in nature. These are the examples which you must know this year. We have hydroxide, which has a formula of OH, and it has a charge of -1. We have sulfate, which is SO4, and it has a charge of -2. We have carbonate, which has a chemical formula of CO3, and it has a charge of -2. And nitrate, which has a chemical formula of NO3, and it has a charge of -1. So as you can see over here, we have sulfur with 4 oxygens, which gives us the formula of SO4. This entire polyatomic ion has a charge of -2. And here we have nitrate, which is N with 3 oxygens, which is this formula over here, NO3, and it has a charge of -1. Those are considered or can be explained or compared as the valencies of these specific polyatomic ions. Thank you for coming to my lesson, grade 9s. We'll see you next time for part 2.